But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past. Okay.
How do you just have this be so one-sided? It is, I mean, it's such a miscarriage of justice. This is not what justice is supposed to look like. It's just, it's incredibly disappointing.
The biggest power couple in music didn't just show up to Epstein's gatherings. According to allegations, they were involved in ceremonies so deeply buried that even the Department of Justice keeps dragging its feet on releasing the records. For years, people assumed the worst was already out there, that the files would only confirm meetings or maybe a few favors, until insiders dropped a bombshell. These documents allegedly describe participation, not just attendance. And the redactions? They're not only about protecting victims. Right now, a new leak is making the rounds. Beyoncé and Jay-Z are allegedly named in unsealed records tied to rituals, with the DOJ admitting they've released less than 1% of more than 2 million pages, while Congress is openly threatening contempt charges. Meanwhile, a lawsuit from 2000 refiled last December accuses Jay-Z and Diddy of assaulting a 13-year-old at an after-party. Jay-Z's team is now reportedly scrambling, sending legal threats to influencers to keep control of the narrative. At the same time, Ghislaine Maxwell's prison filing names 29 protected men who settled with victims but were never charged. The DOJ claims it's all about privacy, yet their own deadline passed months ago, and the next drop could reportedly include a VIP guest list with names that would rewrite history. Something here doesn't add up. If these were just social events, why would the government risk legal consequences to keep everything sealed? And why is Beyoncé's 2025 tour facing uncertainty? The real explosion isn't what's leaked already. It's the terabytes of evidence still locked away, and the people who know their careers are over the moment those files go public.
And that's the problem that I have with this whole situation. But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping, sharing on TikTok. Watch this.
The DOJ's delay tactics just hit a wall. Congress is now threatening to hold Attorney General Pam Bondi in contempt for refusing to release the full Epstein files. And the few documents that have slipped out are far more damaging than anyone expected. These files don't just mention Beyoncé and Jay-Z in passing. Allegedly, they place them at the center of events so heavily redacted that even judges overseeing the case are questioning it. And the timing couldn't be worse. As the DOJ insists it's working around the clock to review millions of pages, Ghislaine Maxwell drops a legal grenade from her Texas prison cell, naming 29 powerful men who quietly settled with Epstein's victims and were never charged. This filing doesn't just accuse individuals, it exposes a system where the right connections could make serious allegations vanish. Meanwhile, the DOJ's response has gone silent, a delay that's starting to look a lot like a cover-up. The first real crack appeared when insiders revealed these files describe more than parties. They allegedly detail ceremonies, complete with dates and locations, lining up with times Beyoncé and Jay-Z were reportedly in Epstein's orbit. So here's where the story bends. If this was all harmless socializing, why risk contempt charges to keep it hidden? The answer might be buried in the 200,000 pages already released, including a 2020 email flagging that Jay-Z allegedly flew on Epstein's private jet far more times than previously reported. That's not a footnote, that's a warning sign. And it's not the only one. The 20-year-old lawsuit refiled last December accuses Jay-Z and Diddy of assaulting a 13-year-old at an MTV afterparty in 2000, a case buried for decades before resurfacing at the worst possible moment. Jay-Z didn't respond with a simple denial. He counterattacked, calling the accuser's lawyer Tony Busby a blackmailer, then brought his children into the response, saying he had to explain the allegations to them. That's not how innocent people usually react. That's media strategy from someone with everything to lose. And the timing? The lawsuit resurfaced the same week the DOJ missed its Epstein file deadline. Coincidence? Or another piece of the puzzle? What's becoming clear is this: the files aren't just a scandal, they're leverage. And the DOJ isn't only protecting victims, it's protecting the powerful.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit. And
the real tension isn't in what's been released, it's in what's still locked away. The DOJ admits it's sitting on more than 300 gigabytes of data, including video and audio, yet has released only a fraction of a percent. That's not caution, that's control. Some of the documents that have surfaced reference ceremonial participation. That phrase doesn't just imply showing up, it suggests involvement. And then there's Beyoncé's silence. No statements, no denials, not even the carefully crafted PR responses her team usually rolls out. That's not neutrality, that's calculation. Jay-Z's legal team hasn't just been fighting the lawsuit either. They've allegedly been pressuring influencers to back away from Diddy-related connections. Jason Lee, a commentator with no direct involvement, went public with a chilling message: "If I go missing, you know why." That doesn't sound like paranoia, it sounds like fear. Then there's Piers Morgan. He initially platformed accusations against Jay-Z and Beyoncé, then abruptly retracted them after a call from their lawyer, Alex Spiro. The segment was edited, claims removed, and Morgan issued an on-air apology. That's not journalism, that's damage control. So the question isn't whether the files are explosive, it's why the DOJ is treating them like radioactive material. The answer may already be hiding in those 200,000 released pages, including that 2020 email about Jay-Z's frequent Epstein jet flights.
Is and never was part of the Epstein files. She was sentenced in 2025. This was an interview by Trump's lawyer to protect Trump from the fallout about the Epstein files. What this really is nothing but a sketchy PR stunt by the Department of Justice. And we have seen this movie before. The Maxwell interview is to the Epstein files what the Barr letter was to the Mueller investigation.
The most revealing detail isn't in the files, it's in the reactions. The DOJ's delays, Jay-Z's legal threats, Beyoncé's silence, Diddy's conviction, Ghislaine's prison filings. None of this is random. The 29 protected men aren't just names, they're players in a system where information is currency and the files are the ledger. The real question isn't what's inside them, it's who's willing to burn everything down to keep them sealed. And here's what no one's asking yet. If the DOJ is this scared of the unreleased files, what's hiding in the ones we already have? The email about Jay-Z's flights, the 2000 lawsuit, the 300 gigabytes of data. These aren't details, they're breadcrumbs. The next drop isn't just another batch, it's the match. The only question is, who's standing in the gasoline when it lights?
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
What's clear now is the real story isn't the files, it's the desperation to keep them buried. The DOJ's excuses are thinning, public patience is gone, and the people named aren't waiting for the truth, they're actively stopping it. This isn't about if the files are damning, it's about what happens when the last defense collapses, and that moment is coming faster than anyone expected. Because these files aren't just scandal, they're a reckoning, and the people who thought they were untouchable are about to learn otherwise. The danger isn't what's out, it's what's next, the next move, the next leak, the next name. This doesn't end careers, it rewrites history.
And it was pretty much said like, Jay doesn't really want awards. Well, he go to the Grammys.
Right.
He you know, come into the Black-owned spaces. Let's figure out how to work together, so that way we have the relationship when it matters, not when it's convenient for you and your image. Because they all call us when the story is up that they don't like.
The Epstein files aren't just documents. They're a blueprint of how power really works. The DOJ's stalling isn't incompetence, it's negotiation. The 29 men Maxwell named aren't isolated figures. They're part of a network that spent years keeping certain truths buried. And the files aren't just about Epstein, they're about everyone who used his operation. The most damning part isn't the allegations, it's how perfectly everything fits when you zoom out. DOJ delays, Jay-Z's legal pressure, Beyoncé's silence, Diddy's conviction, Maxwell's filings. Separate headlines, same story. These files aren't history, they're a manual on how the powerful protect themselves. And the people named aren't waiting out the storm, they're stopping it.
Now I would want, why?
Just to talk to an answer face to face.
One answer.
This is where it gets darker. These files aren't just about Epstein, they're about the industry that enabled him. The music business has always had shadows, but this goes beyond bad contracts and backroom deals. This is about a system where the right call could bury accusations, where careers lived or died based on loyalty and silence. The Epstein files aren't just scandal, they're Judgment Day. The DOJ's next move isn't about transparency, it's about fallout. The next lawsuit isn't justice, it's leverage. The next leak isn't exposure, it's survival. And the people who thought they were untouchable are starting to feel the ground shift. The files are coming, the clock is ticking, and when the last page drops, nothing will be the same. So, we leave it here, for now, because this story isn't close to over. The names are still hidden, the pressure is rising. Who do you think is in those files? Who's really pulling the strings? And what happens when the final secret breaks loose? Drop your theories below, because this isn't just a story, it's a reckoning, and everyone's watching.